Hello and welcome to Viewpoints, Dominion DMS's video podcast series where we highlight our vendor partners. I'm Sharon Kitzman, president of Dominion DMS, and with us today we have Todd Katcher. He's the CEO of the Digital Dealership Systems. Todd, welcome.
Thanks for having me on, Sharon.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, Digital Dealership Systems.
Well, basically, Digital Dealership System was started about 10 years ago at a conversation that I had with a local car dealer in Nashville, and basically asked him what he was looking for. And since then, we've created our products and services around what dealers are asking for, and we've created a full suite of products for in-store digital signs. So basically, as the customer walks their way or makes their way, what's referred to in the marketing as a customer journey, we offer digital signs to communicate with them along that journey, different messages at different parts. So if someone's coming in the front door and looking to purchase a vehicle, or someone is coming in the service area or in the lounge area, or even we have products for the staff and staff motivation. Basically, any digital sign inside the store is what we do, and we're integrated with all different DMSs and service providers in order to get the best information to the customers and to the staff at any given time.
Excellent. I love the stories where a solution is, from a conversation with a dealer. I just think that's fantastic. I trust here as we're starting April that your Q1 was successful and you're kicking off Q2 in a similar manner.
Yeah, we've had record growth every year over year, since for the last 5 or 6 years, as the company's really grown into its own and made its niche in the market. Our integrated solutions are our most popular solutions, and we do it differently than other providers in the marketplace because we allow dealers. Our systems are split into multiple different zones. They're integrated into their existing TVs, and we also, our systems, the way they look and operate, are very different than other solutions or homegrown solutions that are out in the marketplace. Our systems are getting updated regularly. They have multiple marketing messages on the screen at the same time, and we don't require the dealers to go out and buy the TVs from us. They could use their existing monitors that they already have, whether they installed or are installing a new store, or they are coming to us from another provider that failed to meet their needs.
Okay, excellent. I was going to ask if there was something unique about your solution compared to your competitors. I don't know if that's what you just covered or if you want to talk about something else as well.
Well, the basic thing that we do is we really put support first. So from the beginning, we asked our customers, all of our products were generated based on what customers have always asked for. And so that's really, and to support that going forward, we're constantly asking dealers what they're looking for out of a service provider. And from our standpoint, we're digital sign experts, and they're the experts in actually selling cars and servicing vehicles. So what we want to do is meld those two minds together to create the best products. So instead of just putting out the same product in different parts of the store like other people may do, or like dealers do themselves where they just create their own slideshow on a USB stick, we want to be able to have something that's scalable. We're able to support across many stores. And then we are a managed service provider. So what happens is that dealers often get bogged down with different tasks that they have. And what we've learned with dealers is the more stuff that you give staff, the less they actually do. They pick and choose the things that they want to do. And so a lot of our stuff is automated, like our DMS integrations and our service status. It doesn't need a third party to update that manually. And then we also go ahead and our sales leaderboard and our sales dashboard program and our fixed ops leaderboard. A lot of dealers are still using dry erase boards and Google Sheets to update this information that really gets updated regularly. So like our fixed ops leaderboard is a program that dealers, I mean, imagine all the dealers that have 100 or 200 ROs in a day, right? They have a significant amount of traffic, and those RO numbers and those revenue numbers are constantly changing. And how do you keep up with that? And they don't. They actually will go ahead and spend an hour or 2 hours a day updating it in the morning as their first task, but then it's processing throughout the day. So if you're seeing X number per, I don't know the math, but if you're open for 15 hours or 16 hours in a day and you do 100 ROs, you could calculate how many you're going to do in a given time, and you're not going to update that throughout the day. It's just too much work. So we're
Right.
doing that automatically and updating that information almost in real time. Based on technology, and on a fixed op side and the leaderboard side. So we're continually adding more products and services to make it easier for dealerships to not only know their numbers and motivate their staff, but also keep their customers informed as well.
Excellent. And that's taking a lot of the heavy lifting off of the team members in the dealership. So you mentioned integrating real time. Our two companies are integrated together as well. If you think about the broad software set that's in a dealership, right? The CRM providers, which I'm sure you're also integrated to, all the way through different solutions that might also play in the service department in addition to the DMS. How can our two companies, somebody who's providing a great service to motivate team members in the dealership, as well as inform the clients and hopefully influence them, along with a DMS provider, how can we improve the integration or the relationship that we have together on behalf of our joint client, the dealer?
I think the biggest thing that we could do is make sure that we're providing the services that the dealers want on the end part. So that all goes back to how we get data and how regular we get data. Most dealers are okay with every 15 minutes because that's a good clock to go ahead and monitor by, and realizing that that can be as low as 1 minute, and that can be as long as 14 minutes, right? So it's not really 15-minute wait time that's built in. On the sales side, that's understood. We get calls all the time asking customers ask us, how quick does this update? Because and we think it's a negative call, but it really is, oh my God, it updates like almost immediately. And it always depends on the time and the clock and the schedule and everything else. And I always tell people that it could update less frequently because it's just technology. So when working with a DMS provider such as yourself, the biggest thing is onboarding. Is it easy for a customer to onboard a third party to access? And then from a third party standpoint like ourselves, again, onboarding, but then how much is it automated? How much back and forth do we need? Once a dealer goes ahead and clicks a couple of buttons on their side, how do we get the information the quickest to put the least amount of stress on the dealer? Because there are some DMSs out there that you still have to do things by hand. You had to hand fill out a form, you had to scan and send it in, then you had to scan and send it to the dealer, and then the dealer had to scan and send it back. So we fill out as much as we can on our side, but and there are some that within a couple clicks and they give us everything, we get data within 15 minutes. So there's no, they're putting that in the dealer's hands for that quick onboarding. And there are some that now are 3 to 5 days, and there's a variety. We're integrated with 10 different CRM and DMS providers, and they all have different rules. And the best thing for a partner such as yourself in a DMS world is to make that onboarding for both parties as easy, quick, and seamless as possible with less back and forth, because dealers are busy. And even if they're not busy, they say that they're busy, and we want to go ahead, and it's not, because that's not really our priority. They decide to get a product like ours to enhance CSI or to motivate staff or whatever their desire is, update their store, whatever that is. But then they said, okay, well, now what work do I need to do? And we as a provider want to reduce the amount of work or friction to moving forward, kind of like how they want to remove the friction of buying a car, right? We want to remove the friction of onboarding a DMS provider. And we're at the liberty, it's not in our control, right? It's in the DMS provider's control. So, but it reflects on us because it's our product that we're selling. And that's really what, and that really is an overall encompassing thought process.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And they're excited about it when they buy it. So you want that onboarding process to happen as seamlessly and without with as little input from them as possible, so that they're getting the value out of it right away during implementation instead of having to fight through that. It's a great point. So our industry is constantly evolving, right? And it sure has had some ups and downs over the last couple of years: inventory, chip shortage, labor shortage, of course, the pandemic, and all of those inputs along the way. As you and your team look forward through the remainder of 2023 with rising interest rates or even beyond, what are you thinking about to help dealers kind of stem the tide of a potential downturn or take advantage of some opportunities with an upturn?
Well, I think there's two different aspects of our integrated solutions that match this and our overall solutions, where the experience, it always goes back to the customer experience. As leases come up, as services needed, as staff changes, the more that you could give to the customer or your staff in order to differentiate yourself from other people or other businesses in the marketplace or other choices. Remember, as the economy fluctuates, the employee's income also fluctuates. And they may start looking for other opportunities where they feel the grass is greener. And so how often do dealerships actually invest in their staffing, whether that's through training or through something like a digital sign that has updated messaging to them, notifications, versus writing everything down by hand, or having other programs on there that are facilitated automatically versus manually. They have a mobile app that tells them how they're doing. It has a competitive environment, and they're like, well, if this person's doing 30 cars, why am I only doing 10? It gives them some greenway, some room to go ahead and look at it. They also have the ability with our programs to compare, how do we do last year versus this year? Because what we've learned recently when looking at the detailed numbers that's included in our digital dashboard program is that when you look at month over month or year over year numbers, that's a simple click away in the program. It might not be as bad as they think it is, but the perception is based on when they walk through the door. Oh, I didn't do any sales yesterday. I didn't do any sales. Today's going to be a bad day. But then they look at it and they look at their numbers and they're like, oh, this is how it flowed last month. And we had this dip the second week of the month and then it went back up, right? Or I sold less cars, but we had more gross. So we're seeing that a little bit of a fluctuation, or we took in more trades at a higher value than we did previously last year, but our overall sales were down. So it's like, how do we go ahead and accommodate that as a changing environment? On the sales side, it's a little bit different, right? So on the service side, it's a little bit different, where now you have 100% of your service customers are coming through the service drive. How are you marketing to those customers? Most dealers spend all their money marketing to people outside the store and spend very limited amount of money inside the store. But you have people, you have their car, they're already spending money with you. They chose to do service with you, even if it's warranty services, they chose to do that service with you. You have their car and you're not marketing to them in your store. You prefer to spend money marketing to them when they're at home. Which would require them to do something. Now they're in your store, they have an appointment, they're coming in, and you're not marketing to them. You're not providing a value of service. You're not providing a service status board. You're not recognizing them as coming in at a particular time. You're not marketing to them your trade-in program, or we need your car, or maybe they could get add-on service today. We saw an 87% increase in service revenue when dealers have added service signs to the drive. So imagine if you went ahead and started, if you were not marketing at all, and then you started marketing and saw an 87% increase in service revenue. Well, with the market goes down, if you're still marketing the same as if the market goes down, then you're losing that opportunity to market differently inside your store at a minimal cost. With our basic products starting at under $99 a month, you have to consider that you're spending a lot more than that sending out mailers to random people in the marketplace to get them to do service at your store.
And growing revenue in a department that's a higher gross for your dealership as well. I love the sales side though of it as well. I have a favorite saying, facts are friendly, and understanding where you are for sales in a given month, but being able to compare that from a trend perspective to prior months and not getting panicked or down on yourself is great incentive for your sales teams as well. At Dominion DMS, we We aim to provide the best possible DMS to our DRO clients and ensure that it's as deeply integrated to the broader ecosystem of solutions that they purchase, either through clear value statements like what you just articulated, or maybe because their OEM has requested them to install different solutions. If you had any advice for me and my team as we continue our journey and providing our solution to our dealers as well, what would that be?
I think just as you guys are transitioning to the new platform that you're on now is really just making it easy for the dealer to onboard a new vendor. Assuming that the technology underlying works, that's really not where our speak really is, right? Our goal is not to say we don't have fingers on keyboards to utilize your DMS. Our job, our role is data. So when a customer says, we want to sign up for the sales dashboard or the fixed ops leaderboard or the service status systems, how fast can we get that data? Because the longer that is to get that data, the longer that it is to onboard, get that data to us that we could send them the system because we pre-program the systems. So the better that, assuming that the API and the data flows correctly, it's really is that onboarding process to be as quick as transparent as ordering something on a website where you go ahead and place you find what you're looking for, you place an order, you go ahead and get an email saying, hey, this has been ordered by this person, whatever that protocol is internally, and then and then data starts flowing at a certain time after that. Like I said, some DMSs, the proper admin can log in, make within 3 minutes, they could go ahead and start sending us data, and we get data within the next round, the next poll, with every 15 minutes. So it's really as a within worst case scenario, within 30 minutes, we have data from that provider. So really, as far as the only thing from our perspective as a vendor is how fast can somebody get data to us, and how fast can we onboard? And that's really the only thing that I could really have access to say something about.
Okay, great. No, it's it reminds me when you say that it's tax season, right? And I think kind of TurboTax is like the nirvana of somebody doing their taxes for themselves, where it's walking you through exactly what to do and providing tools like that to our implementation consultants and support staff so that they can easily onboard another vendor for our existing dealers is the nirvana in the DMS world as well.
Sure.
So I guess similarly, or flipping the script, talking to Dominion DMS dealers who maybe have not yet put a solution like yourselves into their dealership, what advice would you have for our dealers who are looking at a solution like yours, and how would they go about engaging you and getting a salesperson to get in touch with them?
Yeah, the best way is through our website, digitaldealerships.com. And that's the best way to go ahead and reach out to us. There's ways through there to send an email or to schedule a demo directly through our website. As far as when looking at your dealership and the customer journey, how are you communicating with your customers throughout that journey? How are dealers going ahead and marketing in store, which is a different message than outside the store? So there's the idea that there's a different message that draws people into the store. A lot of it is financial based, but once they've made the decision to walk through the door, now you want to enhance that conversation a little bit more about why you should close that deal with this particular dealership. What makes this dealership different? On the service side, it's really is about retaining or that service retention and keeping that customer spending more money in your store, showing them the service status, showing transparent pricing, keeping them entertained in the lounge, keeping them informed in the lounge with service status updates that we get directly from the DMS. When it comes to the sales side, you have to look at your store. And everybody's walking around with a cell phone, but yet you're still using a dry erase board to go ahead and, or a piece of glass to go ahead and monitor how your sales are performing. It's a very limited report that you have, how many units. It doesn't tell the whole story of the dealership. It doesn't tell trends. It doesn't tell gross. It doesn't tell any of these other numbers. And then there's no mobile device that goes along with the dry erase board, right? So because staff throughout the day, you don't want them looking at reports. You don't want them looking at their desktop. You want them on the phones, taking care of customers, doing something around the dealership to add value as an employee. And so with our systems, with the sales leaderboard and the dashboard program and the fixed ops board, those are going to update all around the store. So that way you could always know how you're doing. And then there's a mobile device, even if the general manager is away from the store at an auction or something like that for different stores, or they're out and they see that they get a notification on their phone that, hey, we just closed this deal, or this is how we're doing this month. This is the trend, or the owner calls a GM and the GM is at lunch or whatever the case is. He's like, how's the store doing today? Well, all that information is right there readily available. And then I think it's just modernizing the store in general, whether it's a video wall, whether it's a sales appointment board. The average customer gets called 10 times prior to coming into the store. And then when they walk into the store, nobody knows who they are.
Right.
Because dealers don't want to spend $99 for a sales appointment board. It doesn't make any sense. And on the service side, the same concept on the service side. And so the opportunity is really to increase the overall customer experience and provide a better value for the staff and customers, and go ahead and increase the overall experience inside the store, which in turn keeps the staff happy. Staff retention is a big thing in the industry. There are trainers that cost thousands of dollars, to be nice, thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars to go ahead and train the staff. And then what happened? Then they're still using a dry erase board or printed reports. And then on the service side, the same thing. You have all these customers coming in, and they schedule an appointment online, but then they don't have their name up on the board. It's just, it becomes impersonal, and there's a lot of negativity when it comes to the perception of car dealerships, and dealerships keep on feeding into that by acting the same that they always have, and not integrating technology like ours.
That's right. That's right. Being in the industry, I kind of get frustrated when I take my vehicle in for service. Oftentimes I'm taking it because I've been called by the dealership that a service is due or a recall is due. I make an online appointment, which is clearly saying why I'm bringing the vehicle in. And then when I'm walking up to the service advisor and introducing myself, they're asking me all those questions again. So
Right.
I can definitely feel that pain from a consumer perspective.
Sure.
Well, speaking of us both being in the industry, as we kind of wrap up here today, I want to thank you, of course, for all the information that you shared about your solution for our dealers. But I want to just kind of bring it home by asking my favorite question, which is, in our industry, the fun part, of course, is driving the vehicles and experiencing the awesome products that our manufacturers out there are making. So in your mind, across all the vehicles that you've either driven or owned, do you have a favorite? I like muscle cars personally, but do you have a favorite make, model, or year of muscle car?
I actually drive, I actually have a kit car. It's a 1937 Ford kit car on a Chevy body, Chevy small block body. So yeah, it's an interesting mix of a vehicle, because the only Ford part of it is the fiberglass body that's there, but the transmission and the engine and the chassis are all from a Chevy, 1987 Chevy. It makes it challenging at times. It is a little bit more labor than I anticipated, but when I didn't really understand the concept of smiling while driving, but I find myself smiling and driving whenever I walk up to it. It makes me happy. and I get to drive it on the weekends. Being a Sunday driver, I'm not entering any road races with it, but it does make a heck of a lot of noise and is really bad at stopping. So and going over bumps is not really something that it's good at. You feel every bump. It's an amazing. The lack of technology in there is actually amazing. So it's a loud and obnoxious a car that I hand painted, and I tune myself, and I do the best that I can just to make sure it's safe to drive.
That's a fantastic story. Well, good luck. I hope you're always having a smile on your face when you're driving that car.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, Todd, for your time today. Thank you for helping the rest of us understand about your digital dealer systems solutions. And I'm sure some of Dominion DMS's dealers will be contacting you shortly to ask for more information as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too.